Welcome to the Rocky Garza Show, where we explore the collision of a deeply meaningful life and a wildly impactful career. I'm your host, Rocky Garza, and with over a decade of experience as a coach, consultant, and keynote speaker to many Fortune 500 companies, I'm here to share personal stories and expert advice to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and discover that you too can build the life you actually want. Whether you're a high achiever looking for a more full life or a leader striving for professional success with purpose, this podcast was designed with you in mind. Welcome to the Rocky Garza Show. I'm your host, Rocky Garza, and I am so excited to have our very first guest with us on the Rocky Garza Show today. Today, I have with me Deanna, and let me tell you a little bit about her. We're going to jump right into the deep end, as should be expected by all of us. Let me give you a quick intro, tell you a little bit about her, and then Deanna, we're going to get right into it. Deanna is a dedicated life insurance agent and financial coach who specializes in tax-free retirement strategies through cash value life insurance. I'm sure we'll talk about that more here in a second. With a holistic approach, Deanna always puts her client first, focusing on their immediate needs and long-term security. As a lifelong partner in their financial journey, Deanna is committed to providing personalized solutions that ensure financial stability, both now and in the future. In addition to helping clients, she has a passion for teaching other agents how to provide the same level of expertise and care, empowering them to build long-term relationships with their clients. I met Deanna about 5 months ago. We've been working together over the course of the last few months. I am so glad you are with us. How are you, Deanna?
I'm awesome. I'm super excited to be your first guest.
Let's go. I can't wait. I'm super pumped. Okay. Obviously, I think folks out there, just to give us a quick, so they can get their bearings, you are a life insurance agent slash financial coach. Now, I think it's really interesting that you say that because oftentimes I talk to a lot of folks who they're in the insurance space. So they're an individual contributor who's trying to generate and write business, or they're in the growth space, helping agents become agents. Maybe they don't write business anymore, but they used to. So tell me just quickly for you, how do you see insurance agent slash financial coach, those two things? How does that work together specifically as the people you work with?
Possible. I can only help so many people myself. I'm teaching them what I have learned about the space, and then we can help tons more people that way. So that's how it collided, just to be able to help as many people as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I love that. All right. We're gonna jump right into it. Okay. When I met you, and then that was in July, then I think it was a fast forward, maybe 2 weeks, because I met you in July, and then you started a challenge in the month of August, if I'm correct, right?
Yep.
Okay. And tell us, what was your challenge when you kicked it off going into the month of August? You set a challenge for yourself. What was that challenge?
It was to write 100,000 in target premium. So for a lot of life insurance agents, they count annual premium, how much the premium is every month times 12. For someone who
Okay.
does more of a retirement type, cash value, permanent life insurance, specifically IULs, we count target premium, which is what the insurance carrier assigns to the value of what they're doing.
And so for you, that number is a metric by which people in your field base how much they did. I don't want to say they were successful or not, because everybody has their goal, but it for sure is like the KPI on a monthly basis of did I or did I not do good in said business? Is that
How
correct?
we
Okay.
get paid based
And
on target premium.
it's how we get paid.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So tell me this. One, had you ever done 100K? Had you ever written 100K yourself in a month? Two, if not, what was the closest you ever got?
The most I've ever done was around 50-ish. So this was just doubling it. I'm at a new marketing organization. I was doing a lot of back end, CEO, manager type stuff. And for me, I know when I need to be challenged, I have to go above and beyond.
Okay, let's hold on. I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
How do you know? What is that thing in you that says it's time for me to be challenged? Because I think oftentimes I talk to a lot of folks who want to grow, they want to change, they want something in their life to be different.
Mhm.
However, they may not be aware of a mechanism or the trigger or something inside that's saying, "Hey, now's the time. Now's the chance to grow." Now, so for you, how do you base like, "Oh, I knew it was time for me to have a challenge"? How did you know that?
The short answer is boredom. I had been doing a lot of details because I was bringing on new agents, just have to do it kind of
Mhm.
thing. So for me, it was like, golly, I got to get my momentum going again. I got to get something going. I got to show myself that I know what I'm doing, which I know I do. I just needed some, basically.
Okay. Okay, so you knew that where you were going was fine. It wasn't that it was broken, it just was flat.
Yep.
You needed some kind of momentum, motivation, some oomph.
Mhm.
You realized that there were ways at that time to grow your business. However, that was not what was inspiring you. That wasn't pushing you. And not that you didn't want to help people, but just going to get more people to work with you slash for you wasn't necessarily at the time where you were like, ooh, this is my greatest love is to just go recruit all the time.
When I was in the midst too of creating a system where agents could cut and
Mm.
paste. So I thought, okay, how better to figure out my system than to just go out, do a bunch of appointments, help a bunch of people, write down everything I do, and then I can say, okay, this is what I did. This is how I did it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it's really important. And I think if you're listening, to ask yourself this question. Are you trying to build a system in your business that is scalable before you have determined whether or not the activities you're doing are repeatable? And I don't necessarily mean that necessarily copy paste, right? Because I think there are some businesses where there is a mechanism that there is a way to do it.
Mhm.
There's not 15 ways in order to write a cash value life insurance plan.
Right.
This is the way that it works. However, I think oftentimes I hear over and over from folks, I want to grow, I want to scale, I want to grow, I want to scale, but we have yet to determine if what we are doing is repeatable. And I don't think until something is repeatable, it can actually be scalable
Mhm.
because we don't actually know, can it be done again and again? Here's what's interesting about that is that I was with you and walked with you through the process of 100K, 30 days, let's go. And there were moments during that journey. Let me just ask you a question. What were some of the key moments between day one and we'll go day 28? Okay. We won't go to the end yet. Day one to day 28, somewhere in there. What were some of the key things that you began to see and recognize when you like really jumped in to push yourself in this way?
The first thing was I didn't even have 30 days to do it because we went on vacation twice. So I had 20 ish days anyway. But I kept a journal, thanks to you telling me, make sure you're journaling this and remember all the things. And the first 4 or 5 days, it was exciting. Everything was going great. People were answering the phone, going on appointments. And it was like, I'm going to crush this thing so hard. And so just the excitement, and I did get my momentum going and all of that. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, what is happening right now? This is not how I need it to happen to be able to hit this goal.
Okay, break that down for us because I think a lot of us are going, big challenge, get into it. We're going to get after it. A few things are going, it's looking good. You're halfway through and you're like, yo, this might actually be possible.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
Now, what happened? Give me day 17 to day 30, day 31, whichever one we want to do there.
mhm.
In the latter half, what did you begin to see and realize?
I realized that my personal system and the things that I enjoyed, the reason that I even do what I do was breaking down.
You realize, so you found out at some point during this challenge
Mm.
that the pursuit of breaking the financial goal that in order for it to be accomplished was going to cost you
Mm.
the rest of your life that you had spent the last 2 decades building
Yeah,
was going to have to go away in order to achieve this sort of singular pillar of success. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay. So when that sort of realization begins to happen, talk to me about what's going on mentally.
I mean, I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? Why did I do this? Why did I even tell anybody I was going to do it? Why didn't I keep it to myself? And then I could have just done it.
Mm.
Rushing appointments, not being thorough for the pursuit of the goal, just letting things slide that I wouldn't
Mm.
otherwise let slide. Oh, I got to get on this
I
next
think,
appointment.
okay.
Well, I've got to ditch this person. Just
Yeah, which is like counter. Let's go back to your bio and the intro, like counter to what you say you really want and what you. Okay, so let me say it to you this way, and you tell me if this is accurate because I don't want to put words in your mouth. You found that a goal had been set, and in the pursuit of the goal, it was actually costing you what you wanted.
correct.
And therefore, we came to find out in less than 30 days, the goal we had is actually not what we wanted.
Correct. I'm happy with $100,000 in my pocket or doing that much business, but not that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your willingness to be honest and vulnerable enough to say, number one, I set a huge goal. I pursued that goal. In the midst of me pursuing that goal, come to find out that's not what I want. How do I want 100K in a month? I'm not going to say no to that. But
Mhm.
if the way in which I'm going to arrive at this goal forces me to jeopardize what I really want, then this goal isn't actually what I want.
Correct.
And I think so often that is a paradigm in our mind. I think many of us, maybe we have to experience so that we're willing to allow ourselves to see that sort of truth. Because I believe it is more difficult to get to the end. And so that we're all clear, at the end of your time frame you gave yourself, where did you land at the end of your challenge?
About 72 grand.
Okay. And I think I heard you earlier. You said prior to that, about 50 was the most you had written in a single month.
Right.
Okay, so we increased our our monthly possibility, right? We
Mhm.
increased it by 50%.
Yes.
We did 50% more than we'd ever done in a month.
Mhm.
Now, if we took a step back, would you say that was a success?
Oh, yes. It
Okay, and was a good August was a good month is what we're saying.
Yes. And you even challenged me in the beginning, "Okay, what happens if you only do this amount?" And I said, "No, that is not an option. I'm going to do this much or find me dead on the floor," basically. And you definitely challenged me with that. But it's crazy because the number one goal that I had written down was to establish momentum, to figure out why I'm doing what I'm doing, and to be able to communicate that to people and help other people in the same way. And even 2 months later, you and I are working through how the system I was looking for is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a who was
Mhm,
this person? What are they trying to accomplish? And then being able to take them through it. And because of all the
mhm,
chaos and all the things, I
mhm.
definitely achieved that.
Mhm, mhm. That's real good. And I think it's really important for I want to come back and say it again because I think it's important that we don't lose sight of this. But as listeners, as business owners that are listening and they're thinking about themselves, and we all want to have a bigger month and we want to do 1 million in gross revenue. We want to do 10 million. We have a company, we want to hit our 50 million mark. Pick the number of which it is. I was talking to a couple of leaders at an organization I work with here in Dallas, and they're on a growth path. I think last year they did about 120, and they're looking next year to do 135 million in gross revenue. And so I asked them, I said, why are we growing? And I said, I don't mean that to be sarcastic. I'm not trying to be a jerk because I know that sounds like a really dumb question to ask leaders of a business. Why are you growing? But I don't think until we have an answer that we can then communicate or disseminate that down across all levels
Yeah.
then I don't really think it doesn't matter what the number is because the number is just something we arbitrarily made up. Now, we have projections, we have last year. Okay, great. But like at the end of the day, somebody has to do the work to get to that number. And does that number actually lead us to building what we want? And so I've coined the phrase in thinking through this and knowing we were going to chat today is why I don't want to write $100,000 of business in a month. And I love that when you and I were talking before, you're like, "No, let me be clear. I'm not saying I don't want to make $100,000 in a month. You're saying when it comes to what you discovered is that you don't want to be the individual contributor to achieve that number
Correct. Yeah, it
because what
felt
it's going to
very
cost
lonely.
you to do that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Very
tell me about
lonely.
that.
I'm just used to helping agents and going after their goals and crushing it, and even though they were like, "Okay, what can we do? How can we help you meet the goal?" And it was a team kind of effort, that's not
Mhm,
what necessarily fuels me. I want to see them put the numbers on the books and meet their
mhm.
targets and all of that. It just wasn't what I thought it was, basically.
Let me ask you this. What did you think it was going to be?
So I do want to help a lot of agents, and in my marketing mind, if I did 100 grand and we talked about it on YouTube and everybody heard about it, people were going to say, "Oh, great, she knows what she's doing. Let's figure out what that is and now we can be successful." And while that's the case and plenty of people have come to me and I've brought on a lot of agents in the past couple of months, it just how do I end that? It didn't I'm trying to figure out exactly how to say it. That wasn't the end all of it,
Mhm,
basically, was
mhm,
fame and
mhm.
the And I wasn't after the fame. I was just after creating attention so that people could say, hey, this thing I've always wanted to do, write IULs and help people in this space, I can now do that. So that could have been
Mhm.
accomplished really well with 20 grand a month, several months in a row.
I think you make a good point. I think you and I chatted about this a little bit, but yes, there is some fervor, some energy created when we say, I have this goal, I'm doing 100K in a month. Sure.
Mhm.
And I love you said earlier, you were like, you got halfway through and you were like, I wish I hadn't told anybody. And I
Yes.
wish I hadn't posted on social.
Yes.
And I wish you would have known what I was going for it because now they're asking me, now they're following up, which means if I step on the 18th and I get a reply back, no, opted not to do it. Now I'm the person who doesn't do the challenge, who said they were going to do, which again, it goes against everything that you are
Yeah.
as a person. So you're like, now I'm already in. I got to keep
But
going. I think one thing that's really important for us to note, though, is there are so many other things that came from the challenge, right? There's so many other things that came from the momentum, the build. September was a great month because of what we did in August. And then we had things in October that wouldn't have been on the line. I'm much more of the belief that there is just as much, if not more, and I maybe go to bat for that, good that comes from setting a goal like that and not hitting it, but talking openly and transparently about it to let people know what it is that they want. Because I can tell you, you hit 100K
Mhm.
in a month, you pitch it, you put it on YouTube, you talk about it, you crush it. You're going to attract the kind of person that wants to build the kind of life to do that. And I want to be very clear for those of you listening. I am not telling you that that's a bad kind of person, but I
Right.
can already tell you that's not the kind of person that fits in your organization. That's not
Mhm.
the kind of person that you want on your team. If you are, in fact, their leader, and if we lead from our own values and you're leading your team based on what you value, we're not saying they have to be like us, but we're saying we're at least going to show you the roadmap that we've walked. Then we have to
Mhm.
leave the kind of space and autonomy to go, what kind of life do you really want?
Yeah, I think
Right?
it was, I'm going to look at my list. On day 18, I wrote, started out chasing a dream life. Turns out I already had a dream life. Yeah, because I was giving up family dinners and things of that nature because and they understood and they were like, "Hey," I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but they were like, "Hey, it's okay. We know you're trying to hit the goal. We're gonna help you. We're cooking, we're cleaning up, we're doing all these things." And it was like I had
Mm,
been removed from the very thing that I loved the most, and that is the team atmosphere and the family dinners and whatever. I now don't I did go on vacation and I still very much did my normal life, but there were just things that were not going like I wanted them to go because I was pursuing this.
mm. That's good. That's really good. So will you just, for those of us that caught it and then we got involved in it and then now we forgot it, will you read us that quote again? Now I want to set the stage just a little bit. This is day 18 of a 30-day challenge.
Mhm,
We're 50% past our goal at this date.
mhm,
We're thinking we're on the road to just crush it.
mhm.
Momentum is building. We had a couple really big policies out there that we're just, no, if we could just get them to sign that paper, your girl has it locked and loaded, no questions asked. Enjoy take the last 5 days off.
Oh, yeah.
And on day 18, you had a realization. If you will, just read it for us again. What was that realization?
Yeah, I said that was I started the goal to chase my dream life. Turns out I am already living my dream life.
Mm.
Mhm.
I want to thank you for sharing that. And two, if you're listening, I want you to ask yourself that same question. Are you currently chasing a goal that you believe will give you better credibility, will get you more clients, that will somehow create a proven track record of accomplishment at the cost of the life you already have and love?
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to encourage or tell anyone to not pursue your dreams. I'm not telling you to not what measure gets accomplished. I'm not telling you not to have KPIs. I'm not telling you not. I am all for the life you want. But do not mistake the belief that achieving or pursuing a larger goal is the thing that is needed if and when, in fact, you are currently living a life that you love.
Yep.
And I think, Deanna, you are a great picture for many of us to think about the life that we currently have versus the one we believe we need to have so that other people will make a decision to follow us.
Mhm.
And I think what's interesting is coming off of that challenge and then all of the other amazing things you had going on in life. Just for us, even if you're listening, get a little inside track to us, but like, imagine how September and October would have been if you would have said, I'm now the person that has to write 100K a month every month, starting in August.
Mhm.
And think about what September would have been like and what October would have been like. Let me ask you this. There's somebody out there right now. They have a business. It's successful. I would chalk everything up to what you do and what you're doing and how you're doing it to being successful and building the thing you want and learning. And you're extremely coachable. So let's just say we chalk people up to there in the spot that you're in. And they're thinking to themselves, for me to get to the next level, I'm going to have to become like person A, B, or C, because seemingly what gives them the credibility is that they've done something no one else has done. And therefore, they can then go tell other people they want to help them do it too.
Mhm.
What do you say to that person who's going, do I have to chase the big, crazy, what is it, a BHAG or big, hairy, audacious goal? Which, by the way, that's
Mhm.
the worst way to, I don't know who made that up, but it's awful. The person who's out there thinking, I got to have that. If I can't find that thing and accomplish that thing, no one's going to believe me. No one's going to follow me. No one's going to want to be on my team. No one's going to want to help me. If I can't be the 7, 8, 9, 10 figure so and so with X amount of leads and X, all the things we think we have to have. Talk to the person out there who's thinking, I like my life. I like helping people,
Mhm.
and I like being a part of something that seems both sustainable and challenging. What do you say to that person?
If the person is a dreamer and you get that feeling, I need to do this, and it just never goes away, I would say 100% do it because I wouldn't know what I know
Mm,
now if I had not done that. This is for real. You helping me work through these things and telling me to journal it
yes.
and don't just let the 30 days go by. Like, why are you doing what you're doing and what do you want? I wouldn't have known all of that. I would just still be
Mm,
going through the motions. So for
mm,
me, it was all meant to be. It all needed to happen for me to say, okay, now I know beyond the, I've always said I want to help agents, but is that just things I hear other people say? Now I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that I am meant to help agents wherever they are. They don't have to do $100,000 a month. They don't have to do five. What do you
mm,
want? And let me help you get there because now pretty much know how to write all amounts of business now. So
mm,
just that awakening for me that I don't have to be the $100,000 earner. I can just be
yeah,
Deanna that coaches people to their next level and knows beyond the shadow of a doubt how to get them there their way, not my way. I thought it
mm,
was going to be my
mm,
way and my system and here's a box and open it up and magic happens, but it's real conversations and helping the person right where they are.
mm, mm. Yeah, I think that's why me and you get along, because I couldn't agree more with anything that you're saying. And I think it is such, I want you to know how encouraged I was by being able to not just be a part of it, but to watch all the sort of all that unfold. I greatly appreciate your willingness to share with us here that sort of even in that vulnerable moment of going, wait a second, maybe I have the thing that I've always wanted and I don't want to miss it in pursuit of something I don't really want. And therefore, what else is it seeing me and teaching me and showing me? And I love that your advice to the person out there who's thinking, what do I do? Was not don't do it and be satisfied. It was go do it and try it and see what comes from it. And you'll have a lot clearer
Yep.
idea about what it is that you really want. Okay, Deanna,
Before.
as we wrap up, if you don't mind, so we have a tradition here. And so we have this card game here called Tell Me About That. Okay, so this is a 50-question card game that we created ourselves, and you can find it at tellmeaboutthat.com. But as a tradition for all of our podcast guests, what we're doing is I've got all the questions here and they're all listed here. We can't see them. So I'm just going to shuffle through the deck. When you tell me to stop, I can't see them. I'm just going to stop and I'm going to pull that card and we're going to wrap up our podcast with just you and me answering one tell me about that question. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right. Let's see. Our question for today is what do you value most?
That's easy. Time with my family and friends, period.
Mm, mm, mm. So you say the thing you value most is time with your family and your friends. Tell me about that.
Well, you don't realize, of course, I say that I value that. But again, you don't really realize it until you're focused elsewhere and you miss the things that you're used to and that you enjoy. Yeah, that's my jam. That's my thing. And that's,
Mm,
yes, I
I
love
love that.
helping families with insurance and all of those good things. I mostly do it so that I have the freedom to be with the people that
Mm,
I enjoy being with.
I love that. I love that. Deanna, I so appreciate you joining us for the Rocky Garza show. I so appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for helping us high achievers. And I think, as we always say here, we're looking to find the intersection of a deeply meaningful life and a wildly successful career. And I think, one, you are a great example of as somebody who is in pursuit of that. And two, really helping us get a redefined view of how do we arrive at that intersection. You mentioned that if folks are interested, they can get a free call with you. And so tell us about that free call, and we're going to make sure and link that down in the show notes.
Either with retirement type stuff, I do complimentary calls, or if you're an agent and you happen to get this, happy to meet with you. Have a growing team. We can definitely find a spot for you if you're a fit. But yep, that's what I do.
Awesome. Well, make sure and check out that link for Deanna down in the bottom. And as always, thank you for joining us on the Rocky Garza Show. If you are interested on what we are doing or the next event we have, we would love to have you join us. And you can always go to rockygarza.com/beyond success. And our next free virtual event will be listed there for you. All you got to do is RSVP, save that ticket, and we will see you then. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And as always, let's keep going.